Yeah, stop having kids. Stop perpetuating the madness. Stop the madness. That's some sort of video series, I think, actually. How to lose weight. Yeah, well, lose your addiction. People. So I'm going to load this video.
So, yeah, something I would like the anti-natalist to answer, you know, and I see some comments and everything. Oh, Pyrrho isn't saying anything. Well, you guys aren't answering either.
Well, that's sort of a crock of shit.
No, it's not a crock of shit. No, it's not a crock of shit. I was talking about a particular question. Of course, we're always going to say, hey, there's things you haven't addressed yet. But I'm talking about a particular question about why do people add up the mathematics in their life to take on misery for the pleasures they value. You know, you guys are going to go, oh, because they're assholes. Well, it doesn't matter if they do it for an asshole reason. They're just trying to impress chicks or their boss or their friends. They obviously take on the misery, which is the point, in order to get something they think is worth living for and worth risking life for. And that's what you guys are missing, that there's a link. Things worth living for are worth risking your life for. That's what the living believe. Okay.
Bones sinking like stone is all that we fall for. Homes, places we've grown, all of us are done for. And we live in a beautiful world. Yeah, we do, yeah, we do. We live in a beautiful world. Bones sinking like stones, all that we fall for. Places we've grown, all of us are done for.
That, you know, the life game is just satisfying silly ambitions. We can see that. Look at all these comments. Oof, I have to read through some.
No, you know, no. See, and this is where we're getting to. All silly ambitions. Hey, I'll give you climbing to Mount Everest is silly if you want, because I don't really want to do it. But I believe other people can judge for themselves. I mean, the things that I consider the height of worth living for are more like in scientific achievements. You know, I think figuring out that EMC squared is a truth and getting to check that and interact with it, I think that's a height of worth living for, okay? Like climbing to Mount Everest. Remember, I don't play X Games and climb to Mount Everest. I'm not telling you simple-minded folk that that's what you should do. I'm saying, look at these examples of how people add up the mathematics of their life. You're getting confused comparing person A and person B and their misery to each other and their happiness to each other. It isn't like that. This is relativism. You've got to add up the misery and pleasure for one person. And then on a social level, if you want to ask, well, how does the group think? Does the group think life's worth living? Then after each individual's added it up, you add up those answers together and see, well, yeah, overall they say life's worth living, or they don't. Okay. But on the individual level, you have to just use one person's pleasure and pain, and that's what we're talking about. Not why they did it. The question is, why would I suffer and starve and live off ramen for 8 years to get a physics degree and discover, you know, E equals MC squared? It's the same thing. And you guys are like, just go to mountains is stupid. And you're judging other people's pleasure in a way you don't get to judge. That's for them to judge.
Yeah, so that's a bogus argument. You're the one.
You know, and a lot of you go, oh, well, they want to play basketball with kittens, and it's for them to judge. Yeah, well, how they get pleasure impacts other people. It's for everybody impacted to judge. I don't want them to play basketball with kittens. So yeah, we have a real conflict if people want to do that. But you guys just try to confound that as if it's some sort of deep complication. Some people are assholes. Yeah, well, some people are going to get their ass kicked.
Not answering. The basic point is that all this. Okay, is just a mental perception. We see it in human beings. If you're born in one.
Yes, it's arbitrary, the chasing. The point is people choose to do it and choose to take on the hard parts of it for the parts they enjoy.
In country, you chase a different kind of Cheeto than if you're born in another country. And it's all just bullshit chase. It's a perception of value. There's no real value. You know, your You're jumping on swords of desire, dependent on what kind of fucked-hearted notions you have in your head, and that's all they are, just notions.
Yeah, but those notions change. I interact with what I desire. You went on after this to talk about examples of, and you get your Lamborghini and you want it to go a mile faster hour. It doesn't really make you happy. Hello, watch your life, and then you see the things I thought I wanted that I got and it didn't make me happy. I will change what I want, and you can do that. You can change what you want from your experiences. You can remember that you wanted to pick up the burning log, and now you don't because of the experience you had when you tried to.
So suffering for the sake of a notion, whoop-de-doo. Prove you're accomplishing something real, and then talk to me about how all the blood and guts that are the cement of the pyramids are worth it.
See, this is the hyperbole you do. I never said that. You think that I am glorifying life. No, you're trying to demonize life. There could just be some average guy of average health and average attractiveness walking down the street, and you're demonizing him, and I'm defending him, and you're acting like I'm saying he's an angel. I'm not saying the guy's an angel. I'm just saying your demonization is as bullshit as glorifying him. It's the same thing. Demonizing something, glorifying it, they're both bullshit. They're hand in hand, two sides of the same coin. You never get one without the other. And if somebody says, stop demonizing and glorifying, well, the demonizer says, you're trying to glorify, and the glorifier says, you're trying to demonize. And meanwhile, we're going, no, you fucking crazy fanatics that don't know how to just look at something even-headed.
Curious about. I would like.
Well, he's finally going to get to it. Oh, good. The question, the big giant question that needs answering.
That's right.
The antinatalist explanation, digging into your ideas of suffering and pleasure, about why somebody chooses to go to the top of Mount Everest.
Because they're an asshole.
Yeah, see, that's just a humorous thing, but you are judging their pleasure. Going to the top of Mount Everest, this is an analogy, a metaphor. So it could be climbing anything that you achieve. And it could be something you think is stupid, like I made a really good scrapbook, and you think it's lame. Okay? But it could also be, look, I made a scientific theory, and you still think it's lame. Or not. It could be any of those things. The point is people find something that they want to do. Now, the reason they want is an asshole. Oh, for every single thing that makes them an asshole. Well, you can easily say that, but you haven't erased the fact that you're wrong. A pleasure can balance out a misery in life, and that's the point. Now, the individual gets to decide what kind of pleasure it is, and one person's pleasure might be lame to another person. But for that individual person, they can find something. And I believe you can find something, in my experience.
The crudest of ego-driven bullshit. I'm a man. I'm going to go conquer a mountain for no good reason.
Yeah, that's my point, is that it's for no good reason. It's just for the feeling of living that it gives you. Right? And so it's worth taking on pleasure to get something so meaningless. To taking on pain to get something so meaningless. Well, what about something more meaningful? That would be worth logically taking on the pain as well. So, ultimately we're just going to go around in circles about the fact of, I think a person can decide what pains to take on and what pleasures to get. I think a person can decide, I'm going to freeze my ass off and climb Mount Everest. Another person could say, I'm going to get sand in my crotch and spend the day at the beach. It's up to you. You are trying to decide for everybody else.
Desperate effort to have some sense of accomplishment. Yeah, so why they have black toes and their feet are killing them. You're going to talk about their ecstasy as they breathe the non-existent oxygen on top of the mountain.
See, but that's the point. Yeah, they're black toes. It's not none of my affair if they get frostbite and lose some toes. You're trying to say they're idiots for thinking that that's good enough. What they're getting is good enough for what they went through. Obviously, it's not. Well, you don't get to say, and you can't explain, why things add up like that, except for by going to some opinion that you judge. Suffering in the cold to make a film that is shot in Siberia, that's not worth it. Now, other people can think it's worth it, but you're going to say, oh, no, it's absolute. Well, that's where we differ. I'm relativist. I believe in individual rights. I get to say it's worth it. You don't get to say, look, you lost the toe. I will not let you do that. I don't believe in that. Look, someone fell off the mountain. We will not let them climb the mountain anymore. No, fuck that bullshit. Somebody's willing to, climb the mountain and fall off and put up a sign or something. Help make sure they know.
What a crock of fucking shit. If that's what human beings have to do to get off, okay, then blow them the fuck up now. Hit the button. Hit the fucking button. I mean, that just makes it even more obvious how silly you fuckers are, if this is the kind of Cheeto you're going to chase.
I mean, you don't just take a risk of misery. You are going to be miserable. Aspects of it are miserable.
Exactly. And you're going to do it because you're a crazy, addicted, motherfucking, unself-actualized, unsatisfied.
See, you're insulting this hypothetical person because they're doing the mathematics, and you're saying, well, they're unactualized and it's egotistical. But I can easily just take the same example and say, well, now somebody has discovered, the electric motor, right? But there was a lot of cold nights in their lab, and they didn't eat well. They just focused on that. And how's that going to work now? You're going to, well, they're just assholes. It's just meaningless. Yeah, that's what you do. You just say, no, we'll make it a car. And that's all just equally as meaningless. Okay, but I used an example where it's easy to argue that it's meaningless. And the point is that if a person judges something as worth it, then their own personal mathematics comes into play. And that's my point, is that we can go to an individual and ask them. But you don't want to do that because most people would endorse life. So you're going to speak for them, which is not a way that you should go. When you get to that juncture where it's like, I'll have to speak for them, or let them speak for themselves, and they'll disagree with me. Let them speak for themselves still.
Unsatisfied, desperate, sick fucker.
And yet people do it. They enjoy it. They do it again.
Yeah, people do that. That's right. They take the heroin, they shoot it into their arm, and then they say, oh yeah, I'm going to do that again. That kicked ass. Oh yeah, I'm going to shoot some more of that shit in my fucking arm. Yeah,
Okay, now it's from mountain climbing. You went off the mountain onto the shooting heroin side. But why don't you go on to the science side? See? But I believe in enjoying things that can be enjoyed. So I include art, hiking, all kinds of climbing Mount Everest, whatever for all of us.
I'm going to shoot it in my ass. Oh, I'm going to shoot it in the head of my dick.
To run from, 'cause yeah, everybody here's got somebody to lean